Right.
We're recording. It's my catchphrase, isn't it? All right. I was just about to start. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Shauna. If you're new here, welcome. This is my booktube channel where I talk about all things bookish. I am a book reviewer, bookstagrammer, booktuber, obviously booktuber, you're here. But I am also a freelance editor and a writer as well. So I like to talk about all of those things. But in this video, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about my monthly August reading wrap up. I know it's coming to you a little bit late. I'm so sorry. We were on vacation there for a minute and things got crazy. So it's coming to you now. So that's all that matters. So let's just jump right into it. So the first book that I read in the month of August is going to be a marketing book, and so nonfiction. I know that you guys are used to hearing me talk about all the fiction books, but lately I've been on a nonfiction kick and I've been loving it. But this first book is called Get Clients Now, and it is by CJ Hayden. It is like I said, a marketing book. It was kind of like a marketing challenge for not only me, but Tony to do as well. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I am a freelance editor and I am trying to find different ways of finding clients and helping authors, tell their stories and get their books out there to the public. So sometimes they're hard to find. I know that there's a lot of authors out there, but there's also a lot of editors and there is a lot of noise online. So sometimes I know clients can be hard to find, and I know that even being in the author's seat, editors are hard to find. So I was trying to find ways to better put myself out there to find the people that I'm going to connect with the most and whose stories I fully believe in, and I want to get that out there. So this book, like I said, was a marketing challenge. We were doing the challenge through most of the month of August. And like I said, Tony did this with me. He was doing it for his production company, Rebuilt Minds. I will link all of their information down below because they also produced this video for me. So thank you so much to the Rebuilt Minds team. Yes, so we were both doing this challenge. We kind of fell out of it near the end of August because like I said, we went on vacation for about a week and a half, and we just fell out of it. I will say up until that point, we were doing really well and we were, starting to connect with people and just finding ways that we can get our voices out there and get what we have to offer people out there. And so it was approaching it in a new way because, when you think of marketing, you just think of like paid advertisements or, using social media, and like there are so many different ways, and it just really expanded my brain on that. And I really loved it. So I really do want to give this challenge another shot when we can actually like sit down and focus and commit fully for a month to do this challenge. But I will link, like I said, all of the information down below, not just for Rebuilt Minds, but for the books itself. So you can go take a look if you are interested at all in the book. All right, the next book that I read is also going to be a nonfiction book, but it is called Read Books All Day and Get Paid for It by Jennie Nash. Jennie Nash, I recently discovered because I have recently discovered book coaching. So if you aren't familiar, a book coach is someone who basically helps you write your book from start to finish. So obviously they're not writing the book for you, but they are encouraging you. They are the person that is like your accountability buddy in a way. So they hold you accountable. You write a certain amount of pages each week or however the coach has it set up. But usually you will pay like a monthly fee to this coach. They will help you, hold you accountable, give you homework to do, but also keep encouraging you to write and not to give up. As well as they help you edit along the way and they help you workshop different ideas. So whatever idea you have for your book, they help you get it fully down on paper. And I will say that coaches, I think, are super beneficial. From my research that I've been doing and like talking to coaches, I don't have a coach yet myself, but just like talking to people and researching and seeing what these coaches do. But also as a freelance editor, I see also where a coach can really come in handy because a lot of the clients that I get, there are times, I've never had to say this, knock on wood, I've never had to say this to a client yet, that they really should just start over. And that's so disheartening. I don't ever want to say that to anybody, but what a coach can help prevent that from happening because they have that editor's mindset as well. And so they can tell you what's going to work and what's not going to work. Okay, you haven't fleshed this character out yet. Let's do that before you move on to other chapters. So they're super beneficial. So I found Jennie Nash because I discovered book coaching, and she is actually the founder of Author Accelerator, which is like a school, basically, like an online course where you can get certified to become a book coach. So I've been looking at that myself because that sounds exactly like what I want to be doing, because already I'm helping authors, but I want to help them even more. I want to always encourage people to continue writing and not give up. And just finding it within themselves to just, what is the message they want to send with their books? What is it they want to be putting out into the world with their writing? And sometimes it is just for entertainment, but sometimes there's deeper messages. So I like to dive deep into that. So I thought about doing her program. I can't do it just yet. So I'm like gobbling up all of the books that she's written. So this is one of them. And this is actually runs you through the whole process of what a book coach is and what they do. And so it's helpful not only for people who want to be a book coach, but also for people who, for authors who might need a book coach. So I highly recommend it. You guys should definitely check it out. If you are curious at all what a book coach does, it dives deep into that and gives you kind of all the insight on that. All right, the next book that I read is actually going to be a fiction book, and it was a lot of fun. It is the last book in the Throne of Glass series. This is Kingdom of Ash by CJ Maas. I don't know what to say about it. This book destroys me every time. This is a reread for me, and I don't like to go into too much details because it is the last book in the series. So if you haven't started Throne of Glass yet, or if you're in the middle of it, anything I say will probably spoil it. But I will say this book destroys me every single time. It gets me every single time. This is my favorite series, and the main character is like one of my favorite characters, and I love her so much. It's just so good. It's such a good book. I will link my other videos down below where I talk about like the beginning of the series if you're interested at all in reading it. If you're in the book community at all, if you haven't read it, you probably at least have heard of it or know what it's about by now, but I'll link all that information down below. Okay, we're moving right along. So the next book that I read is actually another book by Jennie Nash, and it is Blueprint for a Book. Like I said before earlier, I've just been trying to read everything that she's written and get as much information as possible to really solidify that this is what I want to be doing. So one of the techniques that she teaches in her Author Accelerator course for book coaches, like a technique for them to use for authors, is blueprint, like blueprinting your book essentially. So I started reading it, and it's super helpful, not only to book coaches, but just for authors. And I have started applying it to my own book that I'm currently writing, and it's helping me solve a lot of problems that I just have been stuck on for months. So she really walks you through the steps of laying everything out. And whether or not you are someone who likes to plan or outline your books, or you're someone who just likes to write and see what happens, this book is super helpful. Like, her technique is super helpful because it's not necessarily outlining. So don't think of it like outlining if you are someone who just likes to write, if you're a pantser. It just gives you the foundation, the major beats that may or may not happen, but it helps you figure things out. And the inside outline that she uses within the blueprint, like for a book, is what's helping me the most, because it's having you write out, all right, here's a scene, what happens, what is the point of the scene? And you can't have it more than like 3 bullet points. So it's super helpful to get you right to the meat of what is going on in each of your scenes, and then you expand on it as you continue writing. And let's say you have an idea later on, you're about halfway through the book, and you're like, man, I got this cool idea that I think would be great. You add it to your inside outline, and then you can go back and configure it into your book. I'm probably not explaining it the best, but I will say, like I said, it's super helpful. I really, really love this technique. It's helping me out a lot with just my writing in general. And it's something that I would love to start teaching other authors as well, because it's super beneficial, even if you don't like to outline. I promise, it's really good. Check it out. So the last book that I read is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. This is something that Tony actually bought me from the bookstore one day, and he was just like, it sounded good and I thought you might like it, and he picked it up. That is like the best present somebody could get a reader. That's all I'm saying. But yes, so this was actually, it's a literary classic, and I'm very surprised my English teachers didn't have us read this in high school, because I feel like it's something that we should read. It's it's so good. It really dives into, let me go back. I'll tell you what the book is about first. So we are following our main character, Francie. She is a young girl. I think when we meet her at the very beginning, she's probably like 4 or 5. Like, she's very little. But we follow her all the way up until almost adulthood. She goes off to college at like 16 or 17, somewhere around there. But this is all happening in Brooklyn in the turn of like the 20th century. So she was born in the early, like, or late 1800s, early 1900s. But and they're growing up in Brooklyn, her and her family, and they are very poor at this time. So, you know, and it's starting to go into a little bit of like the Depression era. So we're starting to see all of that. But it's a coming of age story of this young girl. And because it's very literary and it's one of those older classics, obviously, like, you're getting the backstory on like her parents and their parents and all of that stuff. But it's so good. Like, it's so different from what I usually read. And it was such a nice change of pace. While it did take me a minute to kind of get through it, I think because I needed to find the rhythm of these literary books, because I haven't done it in a while. Once I got about halfway through, I just flew through the last bit of it, because once you got through all that backstory too, I think it really helped as well. And we start getting into the meat of this young girl, and she wants to be a writer. She wants to be an author, and she's publishing stuff with her schools when she's young, and she wants everyone to read her writing, and all of her English teachers are telling her she sucks, and it's so good. It's really good. Like I said, it's a great coming of age story. So, and obviously, like, so this is like their building. I don't know if you can see the book cover that well. But on their block, right in front of their building, is the only tree that grows in Brooklyn. So that's where the name comes from. And this is the 75th anniversary edition of it. So that's why it looks really nice, and it's really pretty. So that's it, guys. That is everything that I read in the month of August. I would love it if you have any opinions on these books, if you've read them yourself. If you plan on reading it because I've recommended it, I would love to hear that. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you want to see all my bookish content, I've got tons of videos and tons more coming out. Hit the bell icon if you want to be notified anytime that I post a new video. That would be great. I would love it if you stuck around. Check out my website down below if you are an author in need of editing services. I would love to hear from you and help you with your story. Check out my website in the bio or in the description below, and you can look at everything there. Follow me on all the social platforms. They're all down there in the description. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks. Bye. I got to say hi. It's a video. Hi, I'm Lily. All right, you're done, I promise.